heart meridian runs from the armpit to the inner edge of the pinky. They also provide you with a very detailed diagram of all of the 361 acupoints that are across the body, and then counterclockwise movements, steady pressure, and then circling pressure. And since this point tends to be very painful in the case of its respective ailments, you should always begin the massage using only light pressure. Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about self-care, and in particular how to use acupressure using self-care methods. So one of the things I do want to focus on is talking to you a little bit about acupressure, and then focusing in on how acupressure can help you relieve tension headaches. So tension headaches tend to occur with slight pain on both sides of the head and are the most common form of headaches. Other types include things like migraines and cluster headaches, which we would have to cover in another session. But tension headaches are often caused by things like stress, and often by strain and tension in the neck area in particular. And to combat these tension headaches, you need to think about your overall approach to well-being. So things like good nutrition, because tension headaches can sometimes be caused by food. Look at how you're exercising. Maybe look at reducing your stress levels, which hopefully would reduce your tension headaches as well. Having a good sleep routine, and maybe adding in a holistic treatment such as acupressure. But first of all, let's look at what acupressure actually is. So it's a traditional Chinese treatment. It's based on the principle of qi, or energy that flows through the whole body, through meridians, also known as pathways through the body. And you can apply pressure on specific points called acupoints along these meridians to strengthen the flow of qi and remove any blockages along those meridian lines. There are hundreds of these acupoints, well, 361 recognised ones, although some people believe that there are many more. And working along these lines can help relieve pain and improve common ailments and promote this overall sense of well-being that you're after to reduce the tension headaches. So acupressure is a Chinese concept. It's based on beliefs from 2000 years ago, and acupressure is practiced by thousands of people worldwide. It is not a substitute for medical treatment, but it can be complementary to that. And for many people, acupressure or self-acupressure can help alleviate common aches and pains. So an acupressure point is a point of increased sensitivity located along a meridian line. And I've been totally fascinated with acupressure since I did it as a project when I originally studied many years ago for my holistic therapy diploma. And I then had to put it to one side because I had to go back into the corporate world, and returning or allowing myself the time to restudy some of these aspects of holistic therapies has been totally fascinating. I still have a number of my books on acupressure, and I'm slowly working my way through some of them and a couple of new ones. But I always end up going back to my original textbook, which was the Acupressure Atlas. And I've recently been working my way through some aspects of this to reintroduce myself to acupressure, and particular in the self-care aspect of acupressure. And one of the reasons I really like this particular textbook is because it's colourful, it's got some colourful visuals, and I do find a lot of the other books on acupressure don't have that same element of visual colour that this one does. And what they have done here is explained acupressure in a very straightforward manner and use the visual to back up what they're saying. So what I'd like to do is just take you through the 14 meridians in pictorial form as they've got them here. And what they do go into detail, which you can look up if you wish to, is obviously what each of the meridians is covering. So here, just for now, I just want to explain the 14 meridians and where they are. So the first one is the lung meridian, and the lung meridian runs from the shoulder to the thumb, as visualized in this diagram. And then they take you on to the large intestine meridian, and the large intestine meridian runs from the index finger along the outside of the arm and into the face. And as with many of these, you're talking one side and the other. Then we have the stomach meridian, which runs along the entire front of the body from the face to the feet. Next is the spleen meridian, and the spleen meridian originates on the edges of the big toe and runs across the front of the body. Just about see it there, front of the body to the side of the chest area. Then you have the heart meridian, and the heart meridian runs from the armpit to the inner edge of the pinky. Then you have the small intestine meridian, and the small intestine meridian runs along both halves of the body from the hands along the back of the arms up to the ears. And then you have the bladder meridian, which divides into two branches along the back of the body. So this is quite a long one here. So you've got this one, and it also divides into a branch here. So all along the body, but also a branch on the inner area as well. You have the kidney meridian, which begins on the sole of the foot and runs up the front of the body right up to the collarbone. Then the pericardium meridian, which begins on the chest and extends past the shoulder to the palm. The triple heater meridian begins on the hand and runs along the back of the arm and across the neck up into the temples. The Gall Bladder meridian, which frequently changes direction, it zigzags down through the body, and obviously on the other side as well. You have the liver meridian, which starts at the big toe and runs up the inside of the leg, past the wall of the abdomen and up into the chest area. And the conception vessel. So the conception vessel is the pathway that runs exactly along the middle axis of the front of the body. And that is your 14 meridians summarized and visually, I think, explained well in this book. And I do find this book fascinating. It explains how acupressure works. It explains your basic movements. And then, of course, it takes us to the section which deals with particular ailments that you can hopefully use the treatment that they walk you through to help relieve some of the aches and pains in that area. So I've picked out headaches today because I want to remind myself how to do this. So I thought I'd share walking that through with you. So let's have a look. So they're saying here acupressure is extremely effective in relieving headaches. So the first one we go to is Gall Bladder 20, and they actually do have a very clear diagram here showing you where it is. But with this book, they also provide you with a very detailed diagram of all of the 361 acupoints that are across the body. And I find this very useful as an additional reference point. So you have the front of the body and the back of the body there. So if for any reason you need an additional reference point, as well as their visuals in the book, you could relate to this. So for example, here we're looking for Gall Bladder 20. So you would look on the back of the head and you would go to Gall Bladder, which is GB here at the top, and you would move your way down the meridian line until you come to 20. So that shows you clearly where Gall Bladder 20 is. And then what I'm going to do is obviously try and locate that myself, and then I'll hopefully turn around so that you can feel it. So it says how to locate the point, and I find this very useful. So they go through each time how to locate the point and how to apply the pressure to the point. So Gall Bladder 20, also known as wind pool, and they all have names. So wind pool is located at the base of the back, and obviously thinking about that reference point that you've got here and the visual that you've got here as well, located at the base of the back of the head on both sides of the middle axis next to the muscles that can be felt there. So if I move myself round, You can see that there. It's like slight indentations that you can feel there. So place both thumbs on the points to the left and right of the middle axis of the head. Massage the points using first steady pressure and then circling pressure in clockwise and then counterclockwise movements. You might find, as I've experienced myself, if you have got a headache, obviously be sensitive to the pain that you're experiencing, and if it's too much, ease off. And you might be tender there if you've already got a headache starting. So just be sensitive to your own personal needs and adjust your pressure. But they're suggesting that you need to do that for 2 minutes on that point. So the next point is Gall Bladder 21, shoulder well. So we're looking at a point here. So there's 2 visuals here to show you. So Gall Bladder 21 is located midway between the 7th cervical vertebrae and the highest rise of the shoulder. So use steady and circling pressure. So if I wanted to double check this on the shoulder, yes, yeah. So it's actually more forward, slightly more forward. Okay. And almost you can feel a little well. And many of these acupoints are in little dips or indentations in your body. And you can feel this. So steady pressure and then circling pressure. Oh, and actually you can actually feel that tension in that area. So again, I mean, it does say the tip of the thumb, but I actually find it more comfortable to use my finger, and actually in the diagram here they've got the finger there. So 2 minutes each. So afterward, knead and rub the surrounding muscles for the same amount of time. Actually, if you put a lot of pressure on there, you might need to just massage that out a little bit. That's what I would do instinctively. That's interesting. Okay, so what have we got next? So next we've got the large intestine 4, known as Valley of Union. So this point is easiest to locate when you make an O with your thumb and index finger, pressing the tips. Take one hand in a tweezer grip between thumb and index finger, with your thumb resting on the large intestine 4 and the tip of the index finger on the other side of the hand as a balancing point. So the tip of your index finger is just resting there, but the pressure is from your thumb. And they're suggesting you might want to do some breathing while you're doing this. So 10 to 15 breathing cycles, and then switch to massaging the point with circling pressure. So then when you've done that hand, you would go to the other one. So again, with your index finger just balancing and your thumb giving the pressure. and then 10 to 15 breathing cycles, and then massaging. Interesting, there's a cautionary note here as well. Please note that large intestine 4 must not be massaged during pregnancy. So that's a good cautionary note there. And then they take you down to small intestine 3, known as back ravine. So how to locate the point. So when the hand is folded loosely into a fist, this point is located on the edge of the hand at the end of the skin fold over the pinky finger. Okay, so how to apply the pressure. Small intestine 3 can be treated either sitting up or lying down. If you are massaging yourself, it is easier to do so sitting up, using the tip of your index finger or your thumb. Apply first steady pressure and then circling pressure. And since this point tends to be very painful in the case of its respective ailments, you should always begin the massage using only light pressure. So light pressure first and ease off if it's tender, and then massage. Okay, that's a useful one to know. Certainly these couple you can do, can't you, if you're sitting somewhere or you're in an office and you're feeling a headache coming on. They're useful points, as the head ones you could probably do as well. Now these ones might look a bit strange if you're doing them in the office, but we'll give this a go. So stomach 36, leg 3, lie. So how to locate the point, locate the triangular protrusion of the skin below the knee. So stomach 36 is at the level at which the protrusion turns into the front edge of the shin bone. I think I'm going to see if I can locate this on the secondary. Right, I just realised stomach is ST on here. Right, I'm just going to move the table slightly out of the way so that you can see this one. So stomach 36 is right under the knee here. So begin by applying steady pressure on the point using the tip of your thumb, then applying circular pressure, first clockwise and then counterclockwise. The treatment of the point should take a total of 2 to 3 minutes, after which you should switch to the point on the other leg. If you wish, you can apply a traditional heat treatment at this point, but I'm not going to do that. Actually, if you're doing this on yourself, you might be able to do this together. Actually, this one feels quite tender on me, that area. So I think I'm just going to pull off the pressure a bit. Interesting. And then this last one is bladder 60, Cunliffe Mountains, located between the highest rise of the outside ankle and the Achilles tendon. So right up here. Okay, I can feel that dip there. Place the tip of your thumb on bladder 60 and support the rest of the foot by placing the other fingers of the same hand under the heel. Apply first steady and then circling pressure for 2 to 3 minutes. And then doing that on the other foot. You can feel that. Just making sure we've got the last of the instructions there. And we have. So I found that totally fascinating, and I'll certainly be trying some of those moves and some of the other suggested remedies, which hopefully I can share those with you as well. But what I also wanted to share with you was some other ideas, in particular for tension headaches, that might help you. So I know tension headaches are a particular issue with many people. So there are some other things or some other suggestions that I can make that might help you in some way. So one of the suggestions that has been made to me in the past is to keep a headache diary and to observe what might cause the headaches so that you can try and alleviate the cause of the headaches in the first place. So really asking yourself some particular questions so that you can try and identify a possible link between what you're doing and what is triggering the headaches. Because if you constantly get tension headaches, that can be quite debilitating. So ask yourself, are there certain factors that could be a possible link to triggering the headaches? Sometimes it can be simple things like the weather, which unfortunately there's not a lot you can do about, but there are atmospheric pressures in the environment which could cause headaches, and you may possibly be aware of certain weather aspects that can trigger a headache. Stressful situations, and if you find that that is the cause of your headaches, then you could look at avenues of exploring ways of reducing your stress levels. Lack of sleep. Obviously, there are reasons for lack of sleep, but if there is something that you can do about them, then the lack of sleep and that translating into tension headaches might be something that you could reduce over time. Certain foods can trigger tension headaches as well. And poor posture, if you're sitting at a desk all day in particular, that could be causing you to have tension headaches. And literally, if that is the cause, you could investigate ways of changing what you're doing in terms of your posture, hopefully in a positive conclusion. Learning how to relax is very important. Things like doing something that you really enjoy, whether it's reading, going for a walk, having a holistic treatment, can really, really help. Breathing properly can help as well. And obviously, if you're still getting tension headaches, even though you've tried to source remedies yourself or take actions to identify them, then do seek medical help from a healthcare provider, which may help you to resolve your tension headaches. But I wish you well, and I hope that I've given you some ideas towards relieving your tension headaches and given you a colourful introduction to the world of acupressure. So thank you for watching and sharing this experience with me.